Hi everyone, it's Fiona Edgar here. This is a video about the upcoming new moon in Aries, which happens on March 21st. Now, this is a super exciting new moon because it is the astrological new year, which begins when the sun enters 0 degrees of Aries. This is also the spring equinox. So just a few hours before this new moon, we have the spring equinox. So everything is coming to life. It is the start of springtime. The days are getting longer. It is a fantastic new time. And it is also ideal for new beginnings. Now, we know that when we have a new moon, the sun and the moon are in the same sign. So this is a great time to plant seeds. Now, physically planting seeds, actual seeds in the ground, it's planting season to grow your vegetables, your fruits, your herbs, your plants. And it is also a fantastic time to plant seeds in your life to get started. This is the best time to start any New Year's resolutions. The energy of Aries is determined. It reaches its goals. It's ambitious. So you're much more likely to succeed if you start all of those New Year's resolutions on March 21st. So it's a great time to start things like new businesses, a new job, a new relationship, or something more personal like losing weight, starting a new health regime. You will be feeling super motivated. Now, let me just get the chart here for this new moon. It's really exciting. So we have the sun and the moon. They are conjunct Mercury, Chiron, and Jupiter. They're all in Aries. This is a firecracker of a new moon. Now, this may mean that people's tempers are shorter. They are more likely to be impulsive, because Aries is an impulsive sign. It is the first sign, and if they want to do something, they will do it on a whim. They're not the best at planning. So what I can say about this new moon is that we can expect the unexpected. Now, especially in terms of relationships, because in this chart, Venus is conjunct Uranus. And it's also conjunct the North Node. So the North Node is where we kind of want to get to. However, it is always going to be a difficult area. So stability, commitment within relationships, good financial things going on, careful with your money. All of those are goals for us at this time. However, because of this impulsive, fiery nature of Aries, it can be a little bit difficult for us to reach that at this moment. Now, this is just a regular new moon. The energy only lasts for a couple of weeks, but it's really potent because we have the stellium in Aries. A stellium is when we have 3 or more planets in the same sign. Now, we've got Mercury. Communication within relationships is going to be something that is very highlighted at this time. So you could be saying things to your partner that you've been holding in, because Aries makes us much more likely not to hold back. And those things that were bothering us are going to kind of come up, and we are going to speak about it. Mercury is the planet of communication. So if you're a podcaster or you do anything in public speaking or writing, this is the ideal time to get things going. Now, Chiron is involved here. So Chiron is the wounded healer. He is also a teacher. Chiron was adopted by the god Apollo and his sister Artemis, and he became a master healer. Apollo and Artemis taught Chiron all of their skills. Now, he did not wallow. He did not let his wounds keep him back. And he became a master healer, astrologer, writer, a musician, and he taught other healers. And this is something that we can take a little bit of inspiration from. If you're involved in teaching in any way, this is a great new moon to get things going. Perhaps you want to write a course. Perhaps you want to teach a new group of students. That's something that I am going to be working on. I am a teacher of astrology. I have taught hundreds of students the art of Western astrology. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website. So yes, it's a bit of a firecracker. Not only have we got all of these planets in Aries, making things fiery and, restless, temperamental, but the new moon actually squares Mars. Now, it is a square by degree. The actual signs themselves are compatible. We've got Mars getting towards the end of Gemini, and we have the sun and moon in the beginning of Aries. So they are square, not by sign, but by degree. But we're still going to feel that. It just won't be as strong as if it were the sign. So Mars, of course, is the planet of war. There can be arguments, conflict, stuff going on, and you have really had enough at this point, and everything gets going. Mars, to me, I'm looking at this chart now, and Mars is reminding me of a dog that's running away from its owner. It's galloping through the park, it's free, it's playing with the other dogs, and you're trying to call your dog, come on, it's time to go home, and he's running around and not listening to you. For some reason, that is what Mars is looking like right now. Mars, by this point, is going to be out of its shadow period. So that means it's running at full speed. It's not being kept back by any, shadow or retrograde motion, and it is free. Everyone's Mars is going to be really visible around this time. You will be feeling more sexual. Springtime is a very sexual time because it's mating season. And all of the animals are running around. There's also a lot of conflict because the animals are kind of fighting for their mates. We are also animals, but we seem to forget that sometimes. So we will be feeling more fired up, more frisky, more ambitious. Now, there is a square also between Venus and Pluto. Relationships are going to be a little bit difficult. There will be an element of control. There's maybe going to be some obsession. Maybe if you're not in a relationship, you really want to get one going. But there is a point of obsession and control by this square between Venus and Pluto. Regardless of anything going on, we are not going to be bored over the next couple of weeks from this new moon. I can say that. Now, there's also actually a sextile between Venus and Saturn. So what that's saying is we can get to a point of stability that Saturn is representing here by dropping any illusions. And maybe there is an argument. Maybe everything is all fired up and this and that. But ultimately, this is going to bring us to a better place of stability. Now, this is also about finances. So try and stay away from the Versace and all of that. No Versace bags, because you have to make a sensible decision when it comes to your finances. You must try and be sensible when it comes to relationships, because the impulsive side of this new moon could get you into trouble very quickly if you didn't control your impulses. Now, we have this conjunction that's still in orb between Jupiter and Chiron. Chiron, of course, is the wound, but the ability to heal from that wound. Jupiter is really blowing that, expanding upon that, making it really visible. So there's been some wounding stuff going on, but there is also this potential to heal and have a new beginning, which is really what the new moon in Aries is trying to encourage us all to do. I am a pagan. I will be doing a ritual on that day to honor springtime, the sun. So you can do a ritual, or you can do something to kind of mark this event, because when we have these important astrological events, it keeps us on this wheel that always should be turning. When we align ourselves with these energies, it makes sure that you are getting rid of old baggage in your life and starting afresh and following the cycle of the sun, and making appropriate changes in your life with the changes that the sun is going through. Western astrology is based on the sun. It is the solar calendar that is an exact marker for all of these events, these important events that our ancestors would have performed ritual or celebrated on those days. Vedic astrology is more lunar based. It does work. It's only the people that don't know about astrology where you hear this Vedic versus Western argument. They come to the same conclusion by using slightly different methods. But this astrology, Western astrology, is what I use. I am a European. I am much affected by the European seasons, and this is why I choose solar-based Western astrology. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, this one. Mostly positive though, because Aries is a fun sign. Aries is playful. If you know Aries people, they are fun to be around. They are amusing, exciting. So we'll have that undercurrent of energy flowing through our lives for those couple of weeks. And it's a great time to get away. You don't want to be bored at this time, because then you may be more prone to doing something reckless. So plan a little day trip away, or do something fun for those couple of weeks. But our wounds are going to be kind of highlighted again. This Jupiter Chiron conjunction, it only happens once every 14 years. So it's it's quite kind of a rare event in terms of astrology. But we have to understand that this is kind of being brought up for a reason. If your wounds are being aggravated, and we all have them, and a lot of them you think that you have no control over, because wounds are carried on. We've all heard of the family curse, and the wounds are carried on through the children, the grandchildren, the descendants, until it reaches someone that is aware of this wound, and then they take steps to fix it, to change it. So that is something that we should all be aware of. Ancestral work is really the only way to stop these wounds. You can talk about it until the cows come home, but it really only has a magical solution. It is a spiritual problem. It is a problem within your DNA. So reaching out to your ancestors, giving offerings. We don't just give offerings because it's a fun thing to do. It's because you put your energy into the spirit world. They can put their energy into your world as well. So just some food for thought. But this Aries new moon, I don't know why, it is just like a firecracker of a moon. It's great to get anything started. You will be feeling so motivated to reach your goals. In fact, you will have some fantastic ideas around this time because of the involvement or the conjunction with Mercury. Mercury makes us think. It helps us to communicate. So write them down. Aries can have this issue where they start something new and then they get bored of it quite quickly, so they move on to something else. So we don't want to do that. However, that is supported by this sextile that we have between Venus and Saturn. So if you feel demotivated, just walk away for a short time and then come back. In relationships also, you may get this sudden boredom that you didn't have before. And maybe it's time to focus on your own interests, or think of a way where you can spice things up a bit. The ruler of this new moon is Mars in Gemini. Mars in Gemini can be a very unfocused energy. I have that in my own birth chart. It's classic ADHD energy. So we will all be feeling easily distracted, a million different interests. Now, a way to get yourself to feel grounded and more focused is to definitely get out and exercise. I don't like exercise. Well, I don't like the idea of it, but then once I do it, I feel better. So I'm more mentally lazy than physically lazy, but it is a good time to go for a walk, do some gardening, or harder exercise if you're up to that. But Mars and Gemini needs to have some kind of release, a physical release, because we can become very ungrounded in our bodies. Now, this will apply to everyone around this time. When you spend so much time in your own head, your physical body starts to suffer. So one trick that I use that helps me, because I have a grand trine in air in my birth chart, I have no earth at all apart from Chiron, which is not part of the 7 classical planets. So it doesn't count. So what I do is I visualize my energy is concentrated up in my head. I visualize the energy running down all the way through my body down at my feet. Now, this may only take a few seconds, but it makes a huge difference. You will have less busyness, less scattered thoughts going on inside your head. So you can feel free to do that if you want, or go outside and be in the earth. Now, it's snowing today here in Northern Ireland. Maybe it's very cold, but it's still worthwhile doing that. So now I am going to take a look at each sign individually and what you can expect from this spectacular new moon. I think it's spectacular. It looks explosive. It's like a fireworks display. So for Aries and Aries rising and Aries moon, if you were born at night, the new moon is happening in your first house. There is going to be some very profound change to your identity. Your physical body, you will be feeling energy rippling through you. Now, this change to your identity mostly should be good, right? Because you've got Jupiter there, but there may be some healing crisis that you have to get through. So for Taurus people, Taurus rising, Taurus moon, if you were born at night, the new moon is happening in your 12th house. That's a lot of energy, fire, Mars energy in your 12th house. So what I would say is watch out for hidden enemies. What are hidden enemies? Well, they are people that smile at your face and then talk about you behind your back. So be careful about that. Also be aware of your own limitations, your own shortcomings, because the 12th house is your blind spot. You do not see it. It's stuff that you do that is bad for you, but you continue to do it anyway because you're sort of oblivious to it. So take note of that. What are you doing around the new moon? What are you kind of drawn to do in an impulsive way that is slightly bad for you? On the positive side, it's a great time for ancestral work, rituals, working with the gods, working with whatever spiritual system that you use. Because the 12th house is about spirits, gods, goddesses, people that are no longer in physical bodies, the ancestors. So for Gemini and Gemini rising, the Aries new moon is happening in your 11th house. This is the house of people that you choose to hang out with, your friends, any groups that you belong to, clubs, organizations. There is a spectacular new beginning coming into this. Now, it may involve some degree of conflict because you've still got Mars in your sign, which is square this new moon. So if there is an argument, if there is some issue that needs settled, it is likely to go off with a big bang. But this 11th house is also about reward. The 11th house are the rewards that you worked so hard at when Jupiter was transiting through your 10th house. And this is the house of the rewards of your hard work that you get without a lot of without having to make a lot of effort. So enjoy those and do not let anyone keep you down or take away from your happiness. So for Cancer people, this new moon is happening in your 10th house of your career, your public reputation. With all of this Aries energy, there is going to be something new coming in for you. It's going to be really spectacular. This could be a new job. It could be that you start to make more videos or reels or whatever it is. I'm a Cancer and I've decided that I need to utilize Instagram better, because I just use Instagram to post pictures of my dinner and stuff. I'm 41 years old. I don't like reels. I don't like those short little clips. But, you know, you have to get with the times. So if you are a Cancer, perhaps there is something new that you need to add into your job to stop you from getting bored. If you are a teacher, this energy of Chiron is very good for you. But try something new. Cancers can stay stuck in a rut. You know, the actual animal, the Cancer, the sea creature, they love to hide in other people's shells. And what I'm saying is then you need to make yourself more visible. And this energy is going to be perfect for that. For Leo and Leo rising and Leo moon, if you were born at night, the Aries new moon is happening in your 9th house. This is a fantastic time for you to get away, travel. It's also fantastic for any kind of spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs. There may be a brand new beginning in terms of those things for you. It can also involve the legal system, because the 9th house is about the courts and the legal system and lawyers and people that are involved with that. So if you've been dragging your heels on, maybe there's something that you have to do. Maybe you're waiting for a divorce to come through, or so on. This is going to be a period where it's quite likely to get going. So for Virgo people, Virgo rising and Virgo moon, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is about joint money. It can be about money that you share with your partner. It can be about money that you got from cryptocurrencies. It can be money that you got in inheritance. So there may be something new that comes in terms of that financial cycle, especially the money that you share with your partner. Now, the 8th house is also about intense transformations. It is known as the house of death. It doesn't mean that someone is going to die or you're going to die. It means it's a great time for you to shed your skin. Bring in those changes. Virgo, like Cancer, do not like a lot of change. Virgos like things, you know, if there's going to be change, they need notice. They can't change like the way that Aries or Gemini would. So you have to prepare yourself now that you may be going through some very intense changes. It is like the cocoon turning into the butterfly. Now, the 8th house is also about secret sorrows. Whatever goes on around this time, there may be some element of sorrow that you have to experience. But a forewarned is forearmed. It's also the house of sex. On the plus side, your sex life is going to be very active if you're with a partner, because Aries is a sexual sign. It is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of sex. It's also a good time to do a ritual, Virgo, as the 8th house is connected to the occult. So for Libra people, Libra rising and moon, there is a new beginning coming to your 7th house. 7th house is your house of partnerships, relationships. There is something new starting. It could be a new partner. If you're single, it's highly likely. Get yourself out there. Listen, if you've been single for 20 years and you're still waiting to bump into your soulmate at the grocery store, maybe it's time that you tried something new. So those days are long gone. Men are too afraid to approach women in the street now. And women generally are less likely to do that anyway. Get yourself online. If you've been single for a long time, I hear people saying, oh, but they could be a serial killer. Someone that you meet in the grocery store or the bar, it could be a serial killer also. You have to trust yourself. Trust your own intuition, because the universe will support you when you make an effort. So get going. If you're already in a relationship, it's going to go through a new beginning. There is going to be some new cycle of your relationship that is going to happen. So for Scorpio, Scorpio rising and Scorpio moon, if you were born at night, the new moon in Aries is happening in your 6th house. This is the house of routine, your daily schedule. What time do you get up at? How do you get to work? What do you eat for breakfast? So those things are going to be shaken up a little bit. With Aries, there's going to be some new kind of transformation and change that comes in with your daily schedule. Now, the 6th house is also about your health. It is also about diseases and any health issues that you have. So if you're Scorpio, you want to make sure, if you're prone to migraines, headaches, stuff going on in your head, you want to make sure that you're staying away from triggers, because this is a day that it is, or even for the 2 weeks afterwards, you're much more likely to get issues with your head. So for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising and moon, this new moon is happening in your 5th house. This is super exciting. So the 5th house is about romance, joy. I often hear it's about uncommitted partnerships or uncommitted relationships, but no, it is about the fun that you have when you are in a relationship with your partner. So there's a new beginning with all of this Aries rising. Something really wonderful is going to happen here. It's exciting. It's joyful. It's full of adventure, which is what you need, Sag. You cannot have a boring partner. That's not going to work for you. So a new cycle, something fun. It's also about new beginnings connected to your own children. With Aries there may be a little bit of conflict, but it could be any new beginning that your child is going through. 5th house is also very creative. So if you have a business, if you're a writer, an artist, you're going to be on fire around this time. So make the most of it. So for Capricorn people, Capricorn rising, the new moon is happening in your 4th house. This is about your home. This is about the physical home that you live in. You could be moving home. It's an ideal time for that. You could be renovating, fixing. There may be someone that leaves. There may be someone that comes in. So changes around your home. The 4th house is also about your family and the early childhood experiences that you had with your family. There is some wound being triggered here with Chiron. There are some communication issues being kind of brought to the surface because of the influence of Mercury. So be aware of that. It's a great time for you to heal ancestral problems and to work on fixing problems with your family. For Aquarius and Aquarius rising, the new moon is happening in your 3rd house. This is a new beginning in terms of if you have brothers and sisters, there could be a flare-up of something because of all of this Aries energy. However, there is a chance to heal this, to make amends, because Aries is about new beginnings. It's a wonderful time for that. The 3rd house is also about your neighbors, your neighborhood, your immediate environment. It's also about your car, the vehicle that you use every day. So you may have a new beginning in terms of those. Maybe your old car is just, it's just clapped out and you need a new one. So go for it. So finally, for Pisces and Pisces rising, this is a great time for you to start looking at your finances. There is a new beginning here in terms of your money. You have got Saturn that just entered your sign. So it's time for you to kind of shape up a bit here. Now, the possibility of something very long lasting, a new job, a new opportunity, some new way for you to make money and recover your finances and to be sensible, that is coming here. You will get some great ideas, Pisces. Selling stuff online, getting a, part-time job, starting a new business, anything where you take the initiative, it's going to be rewarded by, by the universe, by the gods, whatever you believe in. Once you grab the ball and you run with it, it will start to happen for you. And it's a really good opportunity for you to start making some money. So that's really it. That's my analysis for all of the signs. It's super exciting. Let me know what you're going to do. If you have anything planned, please like and share this video wherever you are. It is so appreciated. And that's all I have to say. I hope it's fantastic, and I will be back again soon.